Consistency is the only thing you need to achieve everything you're trying to achieve. And let me tell you why. For me, in this case, this is the thing holding me back. I think at least not entirely, but like one of the biggest things holding me back right now, it's my consistency. Especially when you get off your cycle, off your mindset, off the different things, and you start feeling that negativity. You start feeling like things aren't achievable. You start feeling like it's a waste of time. You start feeling like you might not be able to actually accomplish this. Is when you have to keep that consistency going. And it's hard though. I'm telling you, it's hard because I fell off of it for a couple months now, and now I'm finally hopping back on it, and I feel better, even though I don't feel like what I'm doing necessarily is like the best or maybe the right thing, or I have these different feelings on what I'm actually doing, right? And that is part of that, those inner thoughts that get in your head, especially when things aren't going your way or things aren't unfolding the way you want them to, or your life or yourself isn't progressing the way you imagined it in your head. And it's tough because then you start doubting, how I said, you start questioning it, and then instead of sticking to it how previously you've thought on that life, those goals, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and we're gonna get there eventually. It's gonna be tough, but we're gonna get there eventually. Instead of keeping that same mindset, you start thinking like, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. Maybe this isn't the way. Maybe I'm not good. Maybe this, maybe this. And then you fall off that horse. You lose that consistency. And once you lose that consistency, it gets worse and worse and worse until you fall into that hole. And the longer you're in that hole, the deeper and deeper it gets. And that's the freaking hard thing, man. Because then you're in that hole and you're still thinking like, why did I stop? I should have just kept going. I should have been consistent. I told myself this was going to happen. Why didn't I keep going? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? And now that I think about that, there might be a deeper reason into why you're questioning it so much. But at the end of the day, for me at least, I know this. Once I hop back into it and the ball starts rolling again, I might not feel the best. Like right now, I don't feel the best. But I definitely feel better than not doing nothing. You get what I'm saying? And seeing that small progression feels better than not seeing any at all. So that's why I say consistency this year is very important. Especially if you got things to achieve, if you got things to improve, if you just want a different life for yourself, your loved ones, whatever the case may be. Consistency is very important, especially when you are feeling your worst. And trust me, I know that's probably the hardest time to actually be consistent. It's the hardest time to actually get anything done. Not only for the doubts, but it's that feeling, man. Like I can't even, you can't really explain it, but like that feeling you get when you're like just unmotivated on this, but like that feeling is natural, especially when you got these freaking goals to achieve and you got these things you want to do, see, experience, give to people. Like they're big, man. And I touched on this in the last video, but when you focus too much on that angle and you compare yourself to that version of yourself with this version of yourself right now, it will really tear you down if you let it. Especially if you really start thinking on it like, damn, I'm not doing nothing. And it gets hard, man. It does get hard. Trust me, I know how I said I fell on this in these last couple months, but I did everything, and I approached everything the wrong way. And by that I mean, instead of being consistent, I stopped doing the things I wanted to pursue. Instead of reinforcing my mind with positivity, I doubted myself. I questioned everything. And that not only affected me in my personal life, but my relationship with people, family, all these different things. And it also made me approach situations where when I'm in my right mindset, I'd approach a situation differently. But when I'm in this freaking rut, let's call it, I approach situations the wrong way, and it prevents me from being the man I want to be. Real talk. And it's hard because it sticks with you, and you want nothing but the best for yourself or your family, whatever the case may be, man. And it's hard. And it's easy to just tear yourself down and not actually put in the work. And straight up, I was just being lazy in a way. Not working out, not pursuing these goals I have, not doing all these other different things that I wanted to be doing. And that causes that self-doubt. But then it's hard, man, because like when I first started falling off of it, I could have caught myself many times, but I didn't. I almost allowed myself to fall into it, because I'm gonna get real with y'all. I made a play, right? And it hasn't worked out yet. And I put a good amount of money into it. But going into it, this is what I'm telling you, that mindset is crazy. Because before, I grinded. I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was able to save some money. I was like, you know what, man? I'm gonna take this money right here. It was like around $15,000. I'm gonna take this money right here. I don't care if I lose it. I don't care if nothing. It'll come back. But I might as well throw a Halo Mary to what I feel like with my own little research and my own little risk tolerance and all this and all that. I was like, you know what? I'd rather lose this 15 grand. And I probably won't lose all of it, right? But I was like, I'd rather lose this and take the chance to make something so I can push it forward than just let it sit there and not do nothing with it. So I took that shot, and it's still unfolding, and at times it gets me to feel a little uneasy, like doubt it, and I feel like I'm relying too much on that thing by itself, and that one thing is affecting me completely, instead of just like being like, you know what, I did that, the outcome will be the outcome. Let's focus on everything else and get all this other stuff done. And if that plays out, that plays out. If not, I still got all these things going for me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one thing I gotta hold myself accountable to, because I gotta stop focusing on just that goal, or not that goal, but just that one thing, and letting it affect me entirely. Because back then I told myself, man, that's gonna be what it's gonna be. Now I gotta focus on all these other things. While that's unfolding, I'm gonna have all these other things unfolding too. And that's one thing I'm gonna focus on now. And not only am I gonna focus on it, but I'm gonna be consistent with everything else, man. I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna do it. And when I'm feeling the worst, I'm gonna be on here. So consistency this year is top priority. But there's other things you gotta focus on, learn, and all this other things. And I'll touch on those when I can, man. Take care.